Sobrang di ko pa mapaniwala. Maraming salamat sa suporta at sana patuloy yung suporta niyo sa akin. Kamusta mga kapang Pinoy? Surprise! Excited na akong imbitahin kayong lahat na manood sa mga laban ko sa Mubadala.
I play for hungry kids. To consume food. Alex Ella's startling admission Manila is silenced. The historic run goes on. The lights in the stadium burn brightly. At the Rizal Memorial Sports Complex. However, it wasn't the humidity or the heat. That created each and every individual in that the crowded stadium is holding their breath. It was January 26, 2026, and what occurred on it wasn't simply another court. Post-match interview. It was a brief moment. That would reinterpret what it means to be a Filipino champion. Alex Ella, sweating with perspiration after disassembly Alina Cariva strolled down to the middle court and took hold of the microphone. Everyone with the customary greetings, the conventional expressions of gratitude, like a wave to the crowd. Instead, they received a confession so unvarnished and powerful that it sent shockwaves throughout the Philippines' history of sports. Her voice was cracking with emotion, but her eyes glowing with determination. The 20-year-old tennis feeling gazed directly into the camera and made statements that would create national news. I engage and play for youngsters who don't have anything to eat. There was silence at the Rizal Memorial. You could hear a pin drop. And then came the shocking revelation that changed a sports narrative into a nationwide movement. Alex Ella said she was giving her whole prize money from the Philippine Women's Open to underprivileged kids, orphans, for underprivileged pupils in the nation. Greetings from champions again. Tennis, where we don't only discuss, we explore the creation of history in tennis. And at this moment, we are seeing something remarkable is happening on the clay courts of Manila. This isn't only regarding backhands and break points no longer. This is about a young lady who has chosen to utilize her platform, her skill, and her award money to elevate up the most susceptible members of her society. The strain of competing at She Set Her Home was nothing like the difficulties faced by Filipino kids who go to bed each night hungry. In that, Alex Ella transcended at a single instant. Athletics. She became a symbol of hope, a reminder and a source of kindness that genuine greatness is determined not by awards by themselves, but by the influence you impact other people's life. Now let's take a moment to rewind and enjoy the scope of the events in Manila right now. For many years, Filipino tennis fans have been observing Alex Ella's go thousands of miles away. They've remained up till ridiculous hours in order to watch her matches on grainy live broadcasts over Europe, including Spain and Italy. Her junior Grand Slam has been commemorated. Titles via their phone displays felt both aloof and proud. But now, everything is now different. The WTA 125, the Women's Open in the Philippines, has brought professional tennis for women in Manila, and more significantly, it has brought Alex's house. The iconic Rizal Memorial Sports Complex, a location that has saw everything, even the Olympic qualifications for political gatherings, has been converted into what can only be referred to as a Filipino stronghold pride. Every seat is occupied. Each aisle has a large number of standing supporters. The sound level is utterly deafening. Additionally, at the focal point of this lovely disarray is the girl who dreamed of this as a child precise moment. Alex has been clearly touched by the encounter. Speaking to the press while grinning may illuminate the skyline of Manila, she acknowledged that playing at home has an absolutely different. It's satisfying to have these two victories at home, she remarked. Her eyes gleamed with genuine happiness. Nikita Rinyong MGA Tame Panalo, also known as Du. And having those two victories feels nice. At home. For those who remain silent in Tagalog, she is stating that the fans were able to see her victory an individual in the Philippines. No, more distant observation. No further postponements broadcasts. It's live. This is genuine. And their backyard is where this is taking place. Rizal Memorial's vitality isn't merely support from fans. There's more to it. It's confirmation. It's pride. It is a country at last being able to see their champion in the body. Additionally, she's providing in an amazing manner. However, let's discuss Wednesday evening. January 28th, because that encounter versus Himeno Saketsum of Japan was everything but yet simple. If you just looked at the 64-6 love final scoreline, you may believe that Alex went through with ease. You would be entirely incorrect. The initial set was an utter fight. Saketsum became combative and pushed Ella toward her boundaries, creating a breakpoint opportunities and testing if the A favorite from home may manage the rising pressure. It was unbearably humid. The audience was anxious. Additionally, for stretches of the first set, it seemed as if we may be in the process of becoming agitated. Bila confronted 4 breakpoints and had to investigate reservoirs of mental fortitude that differentiate between decent and exceptional players. All of them were rescued by her. Using the audience on the edge of their seats, she rattled off 3 straight games to finish the opening set at 64. But simply when everyone believed that the situation was prevented, something occurred that made every Filipino's heart skip a beat. Cameras captured Alex Ella modifying her right thigh with a medical bandage in between sets. She had been coping with considerable soreness in the body earlier in the competition, and suddenly the worst-case situations began rushing through everyone's thoughts. Was she hurt? Could she go on? Would her fantasy go on home country and not with a defeat, but with a retirement? The stadium's tension was oppressive. But here's the problem regarding champs. When they don't fold, they are betrayed by their bodies. They quarrel. More difficult. And Alexa does just that. Rather than withering under the physical tension, she appeared to channel the unease into a strictly competitive fury. There was no competition in the second set. It was a medical facility. Saketsum's game fully crumbled beneath the unrelenting attack on Ella's terrible lefty forehand. Point after point, the match after the game, Alex was in control. She shut out the set with a bagel, winning 6 games to 0 and guaranteeing her place in the quarterfinals. It was a show that demonstrated not just her skill, but her warrior mindset. Following the game, a contemplation of the requirements for maintaining this level of play tournament after competition. Being consistent is something challenging when you're on tour and confronting so many of these athletes. She expressed with the knowledge of someone far more than 20 years old. Without a doubt, there are times when I think you're playing improved. That, in my opinion, is what makes the Terrifics so wonderful, is that they're able to appear repeatedly. And I'm discovering how to do it. However, this is the something. She's not simply learning anymore. She's now doing it on the largest phase of her career at home, within the whole country observing. Alex Ella is arriving and leaving. The maturity, poise, and the capacity to control both her body and her emotions by challenging times. These are all distinguishing features of a player who is quickly changing from prospect to professional powerhouse. The Alex's thigh bandage may still be there, but now it's simply a scar from the struggle. The physical pain hasn't halted her down yet, and there's no sign of in the quarterfinals it will. Crucially, her spiritual and emotional gasoline tanks are overflowing. She possesses the remembrance of Papa Lolo in her corner, whispering advice and support. Thousands of Filipinos are yelling at her. Supporters who will set the mood unlike anything Osorio has ever knowledgeable. And perhaps the majority strongly, she is aware that each point she gets adds to feeding youngsters who are hungry and teaching underprivileged students and offering hope to the nation's orphans. That's not pressure, that's purpose. Moreover, purpose is the most effective. Motivation in athletics. Can Alex Ella defeat Camila Osorio and make it to the semifinals? Can she continue her incredible run on at home and even win the whole tournament? The world of tennis is watching. The Philippines is hosting its breath and the kids she's playing with because they rely on her. One thing is certain, regardless of the result, Alexa has already achieved far more success. Worth more than a prize. She's won hearts. A generation has been inspired by her. And she has demonstrated that real champions employ their platform to encourage others. The scoreboard will tell us who advances to the subsequent round. However, Alex's story, Ella's Philippine Open, has already transcended sport and entered the realm of mythology. Let's add this as well. Competition in a more general sense, because the current events in Manila have consequences that go beyond this week. The WTA has been increasing its presence in Asia, and successful events like the Philippine Open shows that there's a thriving market for women's tennis in the region. The crowds have been amazing, the company has been solid, and the appearance of a homegrown star like Alex Ella creates a narrative that organizers of tournaments envision. If this phenomenon keeps expanding and thrive, it could become a regular stop on the tour, giving Filipino fans annual access to top-notch tennis and giving their players essential opportunities to compete at home. That's the kind of positive cycle that can change a nation's tennis infrastructure and motivate the upcoming generation of players. Young people in the Philippines are watching Alex Ella at the moment and observing what's feasible. They observe that a Filipina can compete with and defeat the best players worldwide. They're observing that you are not required to select between respecting your heritage and pursuing excellence in the international arena. They're realizing that achievement comes with accountability as well as that accountability involves contributing to your community. The consequences of Alex's actions this week will be remembered for years to come. Come on. There will be more tennis mice. Enrollment. Parents will be more cooperative to fund their daughters' sports endeavors and sponsors. Will acknowledge the commercial potential of Filipino tennis talent. This is how athletes move. Start. It's also worth noting the symbolic significance of the venue itself. The Rizal Memorial Sports Complex is in honor of Jose Rizal, the Filipino national hero who fought for independence and social change via his activism and writings. The complex has hosted everything from Southeast Asian Games competitions to the Pope Masses. This location has a rich history, revolution, as well as patriotism. The reality that she is being forced to stand here by Alex Ella in this particular area adds layers of meaning to her journey. She is competing in an area that symbolizes Filipino bravery, tenacity, and the struggle for dignity. Her decision to donate her prize money to those who are less fortunate echoes Rizal's personal dedication to elevating the marginalized. Whether deliberate or instead, Alex is following in the footsteps of Filipino heroes, utilizing her skills not merely for one's own fame, but for the improvement of society. The money her donations impact shouldn't be understated as well. WTA 125 competitions provide a sizable prize fund, and by committing her entire earnings to charitable causes, Alex is making a sacrifice that will literally change lives. The funds will cover the cost of meals for children who might otherwise go hungry. It will fund educational supplies for students who can't afford books and uniforms. It will support orphanages struggling to care for vulnerable kids. In a country where poverty remains a persistent challenge, even a relatively modest sum can make an enormous difference in the right hands. Alex isn't just making a symbolic gesture. She's creating tangible, measurable impact. And she's doing it publicly, using her platform to draw attention to issues that often go ignored. That's leadership. That's character. That's what separates good athletes from great human beings. Now, let's talk about the mental game for a moment, because quarterfinals at any professional tournament are brutally difficult, but doing it at home adds a whole other dimension. On one hand, the crowd support is an incredible advantage. The energy from thousands of screaming fans can literally lift you when your body is exhausted. It can intimidate opponents who aren't used to playing in hostile environments. It can turn momentum in crucial moments. But there's also a dark side to playing at home. The expectations can be suffocating. The fear of letting down your countrymen can be paralyzing. The what-ifs can creep into your mind during big points. What if I lose? What if I disappoint everyone? What if I'm not good enough? These are the demons that home favorites have to battle, often more fiercely than the opponent across the net. There's also the emotional factor we keep coming back to because it's just so powerful. Alex isn't just playing for ranking points or prize money anymore. She's made this bigger than herself. Every time she feels tired, every time doubt creeps in, she can remind herself why she's really out there. She's fighting for children who don't have the opportunities she's had. She's honoring the memory of Papa Lolo. She's representing the Philippines on the international stage. She's inspiring millions of young Filipinos to dream bigger. That kind of motivation is rocket fuel for an athlete. It's the difference between giving 95 and giving 110. When you're playing for something bigger than yourself, you find reserves you didn't know existed. Let's also acknowledge the broader narrative around women's tennis in Asia right now because it's experiencing a genuine renaissance. You have players from China, Japan, Thailand, and now the Philippines making serious noise on the professional tour. The success of these Asian players is creating role models for young girls across the region and forcing the tennis establishment to pay more attention to this part of the world. Alex Ella is part of that wave, and her success contributes to the growing recognition that Asian tennis is not just emerging, it's arriving. The days when tennis was dominated exclusively by European and American players are over. The game is global now, and Asia is claiming its seat at the table. Alex's run in Manila is another data point in that larger story. It's particularly significant that Alex has succeeded while maintaining her connection to Filipino culture and identity. She didn't have to choose between being authentically Filipino and being a world-class tennis player. She speaks to Galag in interviews. She references her family's sacrifices. She acknowledges the unique pressures and privileges of representing the Philippines. Too often, athletes who achieve international success feel pressured to distance themselves from their roots to adopt a more global or Western identity. Alex has resisted that pressure and remains proudly, unapologetically Filipino. That authenticity resonates deeply with her compatriots and makes her success feel shared rather than individual. The timing of this tournament is also worth considering. The Philippines has faced significant challenges in recent years. From natural disasters to economic struggles to political turbulence, sports have often served as a unifying force during difficult times, giving people something to rally around and celebrate together. Alex Ella's performance at the Philippine Open is providing exactly that kind of uplift right now. For a few hours each day, Filipinos from all walks of life can come together in support of their champion. They can forget about their problems and just enjoy the thrill of competition. They can feel pride in their country and hope for the future. That's the power of sports, and it's why Alex's impact extends far beyond the tennis court. As we look ahead to the quarterfinal showdown, it's impossible not to feel the weight of the moment. This is the match where dreams are either extended or ended. This is where heroes are forged or heartbreak is delivered. Alex Ella has already exceeded most expectations just by reaching this stage. But nobody is satisfied with a quarterfinal finish. Not her, not the fans, not the children counting on her prize money. The goal now is clear. Beat Camila Osorio and keep the dream alive. Win that match, and suddenly the semifinals are right there. Win 2 more matches and Alex Ella becomes the champion of the Philippine Women's Open, a title that would cement her status as a national icon and provide a launching pad for even bigger achievements on the tour. The pressure is immense, but so is the chance. Rizal Memorial will be absolutely electric. The cameras will be rolling. The nation will be watching. And at the center of it all will be a 20-year-old woman with a powerful serve, a devastating forehand, the memory of her grandfather in her heart, and the hungry children of the Philippines on her mind. That's a recipe for either transcendent victory or devastating defeat. There's no middle ground in moments like this. Either Alex rises to the occasion and delivers a performance that will be remembered for generations, or Osorio proves why she's been ranked in the top 40 and sends the home favorite packing. What we know for certain is that Alex Ella will leave everything on that court. She won't hold back. She won't play it safe, and she won't let fear dictate her decisions. She's going to swing freely, trust her game, and compete with every ounce of energy she possesses. That's who she is as a player and as a person. Win or lose, she'll walk off that court knowing she gave her absolute best. Moreover, honestly, that's all any athlete can do. The outcome will be determined by a combination of skill, strategy, physical conditioning, mental toughness, and a little bit of luck. But the effort, the heart, the character, those are entirely within her control. For Camila Osorio, this represents a different kind of challenge. She's walking into a hostile environment where 99% of the crowd will be against her. She'll be fighting not just Alex Ella, but the weight of Filipino national pride. That's not easy for any player, no matter how knowledgeable. But Osorio is a professional, and professionals know how to block out distractions and focus on execution. She'll respect the moment without being overwhelmed by it. She'll acknowledge Alex's talent without being intimidated, and she'll play her game regardless of what the crowd is doing. That mental toughness is what has allowed her to achieve success at the highest levels of tennis, and it's what makes her such a dangerous opponent. The tactical chess match between these two competitors will be fascinating to observe. Both are aggressive baseliners who look to dictate play with their forehands. Both have solid serves that can generate free points. Both are excellent athletes who can defend when necessary. The margins will be razor thin, and the match could easily be decided by a handful of key points. Who serves better in the pressure moments? Who handles the big points with more composure? Who makes the crucial tactical adjustment when their initial game plan isn't working? These are the questions that will determine the outcome. One final thought before we wrap this up. Regardless of what happens in the quarterfinals, Alex Ella has already accomplished something extraordinary this week. She's reminded us why we love sports in the first location. She's shown us that competition can be about more than just winning and losing. She's demonstrated that athletes have the power to create positive change in their communities. She's given Filipino tennis fans a week they'll never forget. And she's established herself as not just a talented player, but as a role model and leader who understands the privilege and responsibility that comes with her platform. That's a legacy that will endure long after the final scores are forgotten. After an amazing year last year, Alex, how does it feel to be creating your primary make-a-draw debut with Melbourne? It feels fantastic. I'm ecstatic. Well,